Travis Kitchens.
Good evening. My name is Travis Kitchens. I'm your current district judge for the Trinity San Jacinto Pope County. I'm honored to have been elected here 4 years ago. I moved here 44 years ago in 1978 after I'd gotten out of Baylor Law School. Came here to work as an assistant district attorney. Back then, the district attorney's office covered the same three counties that the district court covers, Pope, Trinity, and San Jacinto. And I worked with Joe Price for almost 4 years before I went into private practice. 4 years ago in this room, after the discussions, a gentleman walked up to me and told me he had taught my father ag back outside of Valley Mills, Texas, between World War II and Korea. That's Charlie Stewart here. And y'all know Charlie, he's been around here forever. My wife and I got married a little over 44 years ago. I don't know if that's a conservative value to stay married to the same woman 44 years. Maybe it is. But nonetheless, she's not here tonight. She's recovering from COVID that she got teaching at Groveton School, and hopefully she'll be back in the classroom tomorrow. But Charlie came up to me and told me that he had taught my father ag. Well, my father had a farm for a couple of years after World War II. He flew farmer missions over out of Italy over Austria and Germany. And so I looked at Charlie a little incredulous about, how would you have known him? He died in 1985. But in between World War II and Korea, my dad had a 150-acre farm, and Charlie was the ag teacher. And my father went back in the military. So even though my wife and I moved here 44 years ago and didn't know anybody, apparently somebody knew my father. I was the middle of 7 children, and my father taught us conservative values of God, country, and family. Like I said, I'm the middle of 7 children. The district judge in this county and the other 2 counties isn't the same as a criminal district judge in Harris County. They have courts that hear just criminal cases. They have courts that hear just family law cases. They hear courts that hear just civil lawsuits, probate lawsuits. Here, the district judge has to have a well-rounded education. When I moved here 44 years ago to work with Joe Price, I was allowed to have a private practice because he allowed me to. I started doing civil lawsuits, family lawsuits, and for the last 44 years, I've done just about every kind of lawsuit there was. I have done 60 or so appeals over the years. Tried dozens of lawsuits. I've tried criminal capital murder as a defendant and capital murder as a prosecutor. So you have to have a well-rounded judge that knows all this law. It's not an on-the-job training, although it's continual education, but that's something that you need to think about. I would just tell you that being a judge is the hardest job I've had besides being a parent. Every time you make a decision, somebody's upset at you. You can't make everybody happy. You have to study the law, you have to learn the facts. You take an oath as a judge to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and Texas. That's not a liberal philosophy, that's not a conservative philosophy. That's a legal philosophy based on the Constitution. You don't legislate from the bench. You make decisions based on what you think is proper and right under the circumstances. Every decision I've made in the last 3 years has had consequences on people. Some people haven't liked it, some people like it. You just can't please everybody. So I'd appreciate if you would vote for me to continue as your district judge.